What's going on, guys? This is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. We are back out here with my Rock Pirates RC Vanquish VRD stance RTR that I've heavily modified. It's the Rock Pirates Kraken VRD chassis. They have the Kraken Pro and the Kraken VRD. So whether you want to modify your Axial Pro or your Vanquish VRD, they have a chassis option for both. Both of them are a competitive style angled skid setup. If you want an Interceptor, that's for more basic trucks that have flat skids and use the factory parts from those. So we're going to talk about more of the details on this truck in particular, but we're going to go hit the rocks. We're going to be running one of my favorites today. We got to take it up Mousetrap to go talk about this rig. Let's go. All right, guys, so this is the Vanquish VRD Stance RTR. That's what it started life as. Those come with an aluminum chassis, the VFD transmission with sintered gears in them. That saves money for Vanquish. So not quite as strong as their lightweight or machine gears. So I also swapped this truck from portal axles to straight axles. Getting a little light on that front right tire. Man, made that look so easy. That's a nasty side hill and this truck just ate it up. This thing is so good on side hills. I've got some rigs coming down the actual trail. I've always mentioned that this is a real rock crawling trail area. Today there's some Jeeps out on it. I call them Jeeps, but they're damn near buggies. They have a Jeep hood, basically. But we're gonna get out of their way. And here we go. I've been driving my SCX6 before this, so this thing just feels like a little toy. They both are, but this just feels so lightweight and super nimble. Here we are on Tyson's entrance. Feels like a long time ago now. Then I remember when I looked at this and it was just so full of moss and there's no traction. Originally I tried to drive down it and I'd always end up rolling down into it, but I never tried to climb up and out. And one day Tyson came through and decided to get all the moss out of the way. And it's a really awesome obstacle. It's a long V-crack. It's steep, it's technical, it's super fun. But I've driven it so many times, I kind of know what marks to hit and where to make it stick. The key at the top of this is just stick left. You got to stay on the left wall. Got to keep that right rear down on the inside face of that. There it goes, nice and clean. One try, drag axle, totally possible drag axle. So let's talk about something right here. This truck is really ugly right now. I call this my ugly duckling build. I've got mismatched wheels. I've got raw aluminum sliders from Rock Pirates. They're the 7-inch slider. They fit really well with that stance body, as well as the cliff hangers. The stance and the cliff hanger are very similar in their overall footprint. I'd say the stance is probably a little more pinched, but it's got a similar like door width. I like the look of the stance. This color is not my favorite, but it's easier to think like a cone when you are a cone, right? Speaking of cones, this truck has been through 2 Utah RC Crawling Championship North vs. South events. The first one was here in Sand Hollow, and the weather was really bad. I ran unlimited first and class 3 second. And then at the end of the day, I was not going to run class 2. So at the very end of the day, with like 15 minutes before they added up all the scores, I decided to just, what the hell, I'm here, I'll go for it. So I went and ran the course, didn't look at it, didn't watch anyone else run, just had the judge point me in the right direction of the next gate and just came up with it as I drove. This truck ended up taking 5th place against like 45 plus drivers. And again, with like not watching anybody else do it, it did really, really awesome. So, at the next event, which is in southern Utah, the Apple Valley event, a lot grippier white rock. I went there with a little more purpose of trying to do well in class 2, which is what this is. It's kind of like performance scale WRCCA rules, similar to, we have our own rule set, but it's not scale points or anything like that. It's performance trucks, crazy angled skid, high clearance links, whatever you want. and had a lot of fun. But the reason the wheels are mismatched is I have brass rings in those front Vanquish wheels. The rears are Spec RC comp cuts, but I can't add brass internally on the Spec RC wheels. These are Vanquish straight axles, so I can't use the big chunky F10 brass in the front like on the Portals. That would give me enough weight that I would want in this truck. I do have some SSD brass knuckles for VS410 axles, is how they are marked on their packaging. And they fit great. I really like them. They've got good heft to them. I just wanted that little bit more to help keep that nose planted. So I ran mismatched wheels to get those brass rings in there. The Spec RC requires taking out a lot of screws to swap wheels and tires. You have to take every screw out on the beadlock ring to swap them. And I just didn't really care to do that for the rear, so I didn't. And that's why I have mismatched wheels. But in that second event, I judged some drivers, which helped get people through the course. And it also gives you an opportunity to watch the obstacles, see how different trucks react, and get an idea for which lines work, what lines are efficient for time. That's also very important. Ooh, sliding downhill. And I watched about 5 to 6 people do it, and I decided, all right, it's time to go. Let's see how the Class 2 run goes. Ran my first course. It was a difficult course, but overall felt pretty good. I ended up with a negative score on that first course. A perfect run is -20, and I ended up with like a -7. I did get both bonus gates, which one of them was very kind of dangerous. Like you could fall off and fall down a cliff, but I still tried it and sent it, and was able to get through it successfully. Being on straight axles was a big advantage. They had a lot of side hill gates through there as well. So I was glad I had the straight axle rig. Yep, this truck doesn't fit. Very few trucks fit through that arch, and I don't want to break the arch. That would suck. But overall in that Class 2 event, by the end of the day, I turned in my scorecard, and it turns out I was the only one to turn in a negative scorecard for both courses. So that felt really good, and was able to take away a win in Class 2 at the Apple Valley event. I did not record any of my runs this time, just went out and had fun and enjoyed it. I do feel that I drive a little better if I'm not concerned with filming myself while competing. I can do it. I've did it for a long time, but just lately I've just been enjoying hanging out with friends and driving the courses and being really focused on course, and I think it's been improving how I do. Look at this thing, man. It just trucks through this stuff. It doesn't care. So normally in the Stance trucks, in the Stance RTRs, you get 6% overdrive in those sintered gears in the transmission, and then you get 17% overdrive from portal gears. But I took the portal gears off this truck, and differential overdrive sets give you about 10%. So I put an underdrive gear set in the back of it, and then with the VRD, you can get lightweight overdrive gear sets for the VFD transmission. I got one of those to replace the overdrive lost through the portal gears, so I gained it back through the transmission while also lightening and strengthening the gears in the transmission. So definitely an awesome upgrade. It's not the cheapest way to get overdrive, but as I've kind of mentioned before, it's a great way to do it because you get lots of benefits like the increased strength, increased overdrive, and less weight in the chassis. Lovely. Always a little trickier to drive it from the front, especially on super technical cracks like here in Mousetrap. There she is, she's got it. Got a Hobbywing Fusion in this truck, Fusion Pro. And then we've got a Reefs 777 servo, and those servos are awesome, man. They just do not give up. Love the Reefs 777 direct power. Here I am. I had to get over here so I'm out of the way of my own truck. I was sitting right in that little corner. So I'm going to try and keep that rear tire high on the right side. It's going to help me get that front right tire up on the wall. And watch the way this thing pivots around and gets lined up for the next crack. You can use that 777 to slide the rear over to the wall. That was how you do it. Textbook. Now we just gotta not ruin it when we drop off the backside. Let's go around front. Here we are. The driver's side wall is a bit of an overhang, so you really got to turn a little sharper than you think you need to hold it on there. Luckily, we've got lots of steering angle with these F10 straight axles. Lots of low end with that hobby wing fusion. But what I love about this truck is it's such a simple formula. Good strong servo, Reefs 777. Good power system, hobby wing fusion pro. Good axles, Vanquish F10 straights. Not even the portals, the straights. Good chassis, Rock Pirates VRD Kraken. Good body protection, Rock Pirates aluminum sliders. Those are lighter weight and they protect it and hold the body in place really well. High clearance body, Vanquish stance. Good traction, Proline Krawler G8 tires. Good inserts, SL3D RC. Everything's there. This thing works so good. Sydney didn't make that climb. Come here. Come here. So I'm going to show her how it's done. This one has always been about wheel speed. Straight axles with the Fusion Pro, we should be able to get this done. Lots of traction as well. Hey, remember that time I said that I should be able to get this done, and then I just rolled? Horsepower. Up and out. About near to the end of Mousetrap. Got one last hard obstacle. Still one of my favorite trails. It's still always a challenge and just fun. And it's so cool to me that it's difficult, but it's possible. And possible with so many different kinds of rigs, and challenging with so many different kinds of rigs. There's not really a rig that makes it particularly easy, because there's spots where being wide helps and there's spots where being narrow helps. This truck's on the narrow side, no doubt, which is usually an advantage through here. Yep, just slips right through. Capra axles, really don't like that spot. And there she is, coming out of the end of Mousetrap. Let's go find some bonus lines to play on, and then we'll close this one out. It's been a long time since I've filmed in this area. Got a side hill through here. On this straight axles, this chassis is unbelievable. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like if you've got F10 portals on your VRD, try a set of straight axles. They're so good on this thing. And it's funny because everybody has their VRD on portals and they are great trucks. But this one will go further. Pretty cool. Get a wheel up through this window. Thankfully we're narrow, so we can stay on the ledge. And use our slider to pivot around. That back left tire helps pivot the truck, kind of like a cutting brake. And then we're going to go off this ridiculous drop in here. The slider should help keep us in shape. Well, it took a bit of work. It wasn't pretty, but we ended up on our wheels. Good enough. Fun stuff. Those sliders probably held us up a little too much, if I'm honest, but they protect this body really well, so I'll take what I can get. When we exit, there's two options here. We can go up and do like a full 270 and ride out a ledge, or get up on this wall and try and pivot and get up the wall, which is difficult. It's really difficult. Need that front weight bias. Got high clearance links where we need them. Sydney. Okay, we're gonna give her a good bump here. There it is. Look at that ledge, man. That's like a 7-inch ledge. The truck just dragged itself up and over it. I love how this thing reacts and handles. It's just excellent. I wanted to throw in one more obstacle before we close this video out, thinking about what lines are nearby. And I realized I haven't shown this on camera in a very long time. Mousetrap is totally possible to do both directions. I'm way less practiced at it in reverse. We got a stick or something stupid holding us up. So there we go. But yeah, you can absolutely do it in both directions. Our rear is perfect. Our rear is a little too squared up to that far wall. Wanted a little more angle on it. Okay, there we go. Got to be careful with your steering inputs because you can make that tire slip off the wall. We're going to use our 777 here again to scoot that rear over to the right wall. Now it's an overhang, so the front end's going to try and pull that rear tire under the ledge. So what we can do is drive that front right higher to take pressure off the suspension over there. This is a downside to a high overdrive truck. But we can get it done if we use our tools correctly. There it goes, we got it out. Nice. Use our servo to keep that rear axle where we want it. Okay, now we gotta get it pivoted. Look at the way that suspension settles back down. Got a little upset with the line we were driving, but she came right back. Ooh, we're getting into a bad spot. We're gonna see if the overdrive's gonna save us. Looks like probably not. Now we need to back up and get that rear out of there. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen. I was able to straighten up the rear doing that. Just need to get this front end back up on the wall. Took a couple backups, that's okay. We're not competing right now, we're just having fun wheeling. Again, I don't practice this as much. Mousetrap has kind of just become a trail I come out and drive to relax. It's challenging and fun. It gets my mind focused and forget about other stuff, but it's still just super fun. I love this trail. I remember finding this in my 1.9 Wraith, and then I had put a dig unit in it right after I found it, came back out and tried again, and I was able to get through it for the first time because I had dig. I had a Hertz dig unit on one of the original AX10 transmission cases. Those are good days, man. That was fun. Proline Swampers, all this stuff's on my Instagram if you go way back. That's how my Instagram started. It was that's where West Desert Wheeler started, as I bought an axial 1.9 Wraith from West Valley Hobbies, and I decided that that was going to be my next personality, was RC crawling. Just wanted to correct that rear tire a bit. There it goes. Lovely. It's looking good. You can still mess it up here. You got to be careful. I'm liking where we're at. Really liking where we're at. Turn a little early to help that axle in the back stay where I want. Just scrub those sidewall down through. Nailed it on the way down. That was sweet. Loving it. There you go, guys. That was your bonus line today, was running mousetrap backwards. Their Vanquish VRD Stance RTR turned into comp truck through Rock Pirates, Vanquish, Spec RC, SL3D, Hobby Wing, and Reefs RC. A little bound up, but she's all right. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the run through Mousetrap. I know that myself and Sydney had a lot of fun, so I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Be sure to hit the affiliate links down below. Some of them aren't affiliate links, like the link to Rock Pirates RC. That's just to help support our friends over there. They've treated me super awesome. They're like family. They're super fun to go to events with. If you meet them at the events, be sure to go say what's up. They're a great bunch of dudes, and they can all drive really, really good. So watch out for the pirates on the rocks. Thanks again, guys. Be sure to follow my friends over at Sky RC Hobby Shop in St. George, Utah. Cody, if you're ever in St. George, checking out Sand Hollow or Zion National Park, be sure to stop by Sky RC. He's got lots of awesome crawler stuff. You guys will enjoy it. Sydney's panting in my chest. We'll see you guys next time. Keep the rubber side down.